Welcome to our channel. We're so happy to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe and help us hit our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Ursula Andress and Sean Connery. Sunbathing in the Bahamas while filming. Dr. Number 1961. Leonardo DiCaprio. On the set of Critters 3. Young John Lennon with his puppy. Meryl Streep was born on June 22, 1949. Billie Holiday, Theta Bar and Cleopatra, 1917. A lost film, 400 stills, 20 seconds of the film itself, and the intro are known to have survived. A small loop of the film exists. Sergeant Reckless was a Mongolian mare who served in the Korean War with the U.S. Marines. She carried ammo under fire, once making 51 solo trips in a day. Honored with medals and promotions, she became a beloved hero and was later awarded the Dickin Medal for bravery. Testing a bulletproof vest in Washington, D.C., September 1923. Marine PFC George Chanak pauses by a row of fallen Marines on Okinawa. May 1945. George Chanak was killed in action not long after this picture was taken. He was 19 years old. Nancy Reagan with Mr. T. Christmas, 1983. Children working in a cotton mill using highly dangerous machinery, the advent of laws that protect children from being forced into work and health and safety were unfortunately decades away. Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, and Dante Basco on the set of Hook. Crown Prince Wilhelm of Germany in full parade uniform, 1905. Josef Tiso, Catholic priest and leader of Slovakia, giving a speech in front of soldiers and civilians in Neusol, Banska Bystrica. To the left of Tiso, to his right, is Hermann Höfle, a general of the Waffen-SS, in October of 1944. Arriving immigrants, Haifa, Israel, 1949. Salvador Dali, 1930s. Grace Kelly's wedding to Prince Rainier III. Actress Jane Russell shows off to Marilyn one of her talents, being a great pencil artist, and drawing her during a break from the film of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. Alfred Hitchcock and a baby on the set of The Birds, 1963. Elton John at Dodger Stadium, 1975. American Red Cross worker sterilizing bandages for field dressing stations, Rue Saint-Didier, Paris, 1918. Rother's carousel in the 1950s in the United States accelerated to 33 revolutions per minute, creating a centrifugal force of almost 3G. When visitors stuck to the walls of the drum, the floor automatically lowered to amplify the effect. MJ versus MJ. One of the most beautiful, real photos of Marilyn Monroe taken by Richard Avedon. He caught her off guard. Pacino and De Niro. Young Heath Ledger. Muhammad Ali trains in a pool at the Sir John Hotel in Miami, 1961. Prince Harry, Prince William, and Princess Diana. Audrey Hepburn jumping. 1955, photo by Philippe Halsman, young Leonardo DiCaprio. Feeding Hannibal Lecter, a French fry on the scene of Silence of the Lambs. Sophia Loren was born on September 20th, 1934. Raphael Lemkin, right, with Ambassador Amado of Brazil, left, before a plenary session of the General Assembly at which the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide was approved. Palais de Chaillot, Paris, December 11, 1948. G is of the 104th Infantry Division Timberwolves, with M1 carbines in a position on the front lines near Stolberg, Germany, November 1944. German WW1 veteran Hans Lange holds a portrait of himself as a 19-year-old in 1918. Born in 1899, Hans was wounded by a grenade during the war, gradually losing his sight. This photo was taken in 1998. Hans passed away in 1999. In 1948, a photographer in Chicago captured young siblings huddled next to a sign reading, "For children for sale, inquire within." The image sparked outrage and skepticism, but it depicted a very real situation. The children would be sold off one by one, and some ended up in extremely abusive homes. This 1890 photo from the Michigan Carbon Works factory in Rougeville shows a massive pile of bison skulls, which were set to be processed into products like bone glue, fertilizer, bone ash, bone char, and bone charcoal. 5.8 inches of snow. This is a view looking down from 121st Street on 8th Avenue on the day after the big snowfall of 1947. A Red Army doctor examined survivors of Auschwitz after Soviet troops liberated the camp in January 1945. German military chaplains, including Franz Justus Rarkowski, the Catholic field bishop of the Wehrmacht, seen in front with the large cross and trench coat after a church service in France, 1943. All the war propaganda, all the screaming, lies, and hatred always comes from people who will not go to that war. George Orwell. U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt shakes hands with a young Lyndon B. Johnson, while Texas Governor James Allred stands between them in Galveston, Texas, on May 12, 1937. Captured Viet Cong soldier, tied and blindfolded in a stress position at Thuong Duc Camp during the Vietnam War, 1967. Winter landscape from Herstedvester, Petermerkmünstedt. The SS Princess May was a steamship built in 1888. The ship is best known for grounding in 1910, which left the ship sticking completely out of the water. This is one of the most famous shipwreck photographs. A Swiss soldier mans an army outpost in the high Alps, where the war fighting between the Austrians and the Italians can be observed. 1918. Boys of the Hitler Youth after a blessing by Karl Temmel, an evangelical pastor and president of the Central Committee for the Inner Mission, as well as the director of the Evangelical Church Book Office in Berlin. Themel also worked for the Reich Office for Genealogical Research. School buildings in the YMCA Camp for Palestinian Children are tents that have been patched and mended for years. Jordan Valley, Jordan, 1952. Angie Means stands on a giant Amazonian water lily pad, Victoria Regia, in the Victoria Room at Pittsburgh's Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens in 1898. Testing the new invention, the automatic parachute, from the Eiffel Tower. A test dummy hangs from the parachute. France, Paris, February 23, 1911. Soviet officers examining the German tank Panzer Kampfwagen, V. Panther, July 1943. 1949. An ad for a life-insured bra by Stardust reveals the bizarre blend of fashion fear and commerce in post-war America. 1963. A nurse holds a sick child during the smallpox epidemic. A haunting image of care and courage in the face of a devastating outbreak. 1925. Actress Colleen Moore and her brother Cleve share a moment of levity on the set of We Moderns, blending family joy with Hollywood glamour. April 4, 1968. The immediate aftermath of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, a moment that fractured the American soul. 1948. Mr. Sig, a strange and smiling mascot, visits a hospital patient, part of a tobacco campaign that now seems surreal. Circa 1929, trailblazing actress Anna May Wong poised and elegant broke barriers as the first Chinese-American movie star in Hollywood. 1930s. Chango, son of Chinese President Chiang Kai-shek, in full Wehrmacht uniform, trained under Hitler's regime before we redrew allegiances. Silent film actress Doris Dawson in a photograph by Edwin Bauer Hesser, circa 1928. Unfortunately, she didn't transition well to sound movies because critics said she had a grating voice. 1943. In German-occupied Belarus, Nazi collaborators hail Hitler as a liberator, a chilling image of propaganda and betrayal. April 1923. Lanvin at the races. The model wears an embroidered jacket with deep V-neck worn over a softly pleated shirt. A large hat and double row of beads over the blouse complete the look. 1941. Jean Tierney stars in Sundown. Her beauty and grace unforgettable against the backdrop of wartime drama.